Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Lydia Christina and my student number is H320200182. I want to explain about outline, first outline, students' basic psychological needs. The introduction. For the most part, educators are on average able to tell which of some of their students are ready to learn and which are not. Problems like these are very trivial. When educators are asked about some students who do not study, the answer is usually because of lazy students' behavior, lack of skills, bad environment, and even lack of support from parents. This causes the limitations of educators to make students enthusiastic reappear. They can only persuade or punish students who do not complete. In fact, if allowed to continue, this unfavorable behavior can be transmitted to other students. Before the teacher takes steps for this problem, it would be better if the teacher first understands the source of the problem. Teachers believe that the source of this problem is that their basic psychology is not fulfilled. Another source is that the students lack the essential skills needed to make appropriate social context and to deal with frustrations and conflicts that can arise. This section will address these issues by presenting different ways to understanding students' behavior from a psychological perspective. To this end, this section will highlight the theory of personal needs developed by Abraham Maslow, Rudolf Dreikers, and William Glasser. So the point is students who lack enthusiasm in learning can make other students follow suit. Even the teacher is very limited in solving this problem because they can only think of this problem as a lack of learning skills, a disgraceful attitude, or even an unsportive environment. However, it turns out that the source of the problem is that the teacher must be able to understand the basic psychology of students who are not fulfilled, such as the theories of various scientists developed by Abraham Maslow, Rudolf Dreikers, and William Glasser.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Farida, and today I would like to explain about the next topic, which is Abraham Maslow's concept. So, who is Abraham Maslow? So, Abraham Maslow was an American psychologist who developed a hierarchy of needs to explain human motivation. In this material, psychologist Abraham Maslow, 1954, stated that human motivation is based on people seeking fulfillment and change through growth. He also suggests that in order to motivate students to learn and engage them in classroom activities, their basic personal needs must be first be met. He also believes that people have an innate need to be competent and accepted. Maslow hierarchy of needs is a charted set of human requirements that are important for an individual to achieve complete development and self-actualization. The hierarchy of needs is a theory of psychologists from Abraham Maslow. The importance of Maslow theory is that we are motivated by our needs as a human being. Additionally, if some of our most important needs are unmet, we may be unable to progress and meet our other needs. This can help explain why we or others we know might feel stuck or unmotivated. So today we have the Maslow hierarchy in 1954. Maslow suggested that his hierarchy of basic human needs and that lower level needs generally precede the higher order needs. The first one, we have the psychological needs or but the physiological needs and biological include the most basic needs in the hierarchy, which includes food, water, warmth, rest, and electricity. Safety needs include needs for safety and security. Next, we have the love and belongingness or social media, which includes needs for belonging, love, and affection, which is intimate relationship, friends, or family. Next, we have the esteem needs, include the need for things that reflect on self-esteem, which we have the prestige and feeling of accomplishment. The next, we have self-actualization need. This is the highest level of Maslow hierarchy of needs. Self-actualizing people are self-aware, concerned with personal growth, less concerned with the opinions of others, and interested in fulfilling their own potentials. Next, we have here the Maslow hierarchy. So Maslow later expanded the above model to include cognitive and aesthetic needs and transcendent states in 1970. Maslow hierarchy of needs is relevant to organizational theory because both are concerned with human motivation, understanding what people need, and also how people needs differ is an important part of an effective management. Maslow argued that all the needs can be grouped into two main classes of needs, which must be integrated for wholeness, deficiency, and growth. Deficiency needs, which Maslow referred to as D needs, are motivated by a lack of satisfaction, whether it's the lack of food, safety, affection, belonging, or self-esteem.
Okay, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Sofia Konita. My student number is 8320200176. I will explain about Rudolf Descartes' concept. Descartes believed that individual behavior is a result of his purpose or his own biased interpretation of the world. He does not act according to the reality that surrounds us, but rather according to his subjective assessment of it. Essentially, every child behavior is grounded in the idea that he is seeking his place in the group. A well-adjusted child will conform to the requirement of the group by making valuable contribution, whereas a misbehaved child will defy the needs of the group situation in order to maintain social status. All misbehavior is the result of his mistaken assumption about how to find place and gain status. Descartes states that his goal may occasionally vary with the circumstance. He may act to attract attention at one moment and assert his power or seek revenge at another. Regardless if the child is well adjusted or is misbehaving, his main purpose will be social acceptance. In this PPT, in this slide, Descartes percaya bahwa perilaku individu adalah hasil dari tujuannya atau interpretasinya sendiri terhadap perilaku lingkungannya. Siswa tidak bertindak sesuai dengan keadaan masyarakat, namun ia bertindak sesuai dengan penilaiannya secara subjektif. Pada dasarnya, perilaku setiap siswa didasarkan pada gagasan bahwa ia mencari tempat dalam suatu masyarakat. Seorang anak yang berperilaku baik akan menyelaraskan diri dengan tuntutan masyarakat dengan memberikan perilaku yang baik. Sedangkan anak yang berperilaku buruk akan melakukan sesuatu yang di luar kendalinya dan melanggar perilaku masyarakat. Perilaku buruk itu pun adalah hasil dari asumsi yang keliru tentang bagaimana menemukan tempat dan cara mereka menemukan statusnya di mata sosial. The next is Descartes and Kelso state that we should realize that a misbehaving child is only a discouraged child trying to find his place. He is acting on the faulty logic that his misbehavior will give him the social acceptance which he desires. Their father said that when a child is deprived of the opportunity to gain status, wrote his useful contribution. He usually seeks proof of his status in class through getting attention, and a child who has tried passive descriptive forms of attention getting in order to achieve the feeling of belonging may eventually become so deeply discouraged that he gives up all hope, failure, and defeat. Hope of significance and expect only failure and defeat. The next is the course identified for reasons why students misbehave. Firstly, student needs attention. If they do not get positive attention, they will seek negative attention through misbehaving. Positive attention can develop their healthy self-esteem. Second is order to gain power and control can motivate students to misbehave. They do not hesitate to take a stand on matters important to them and are often destructive in reaching their goal. The teacher may feel provoked, threatened, and or challenged by the student. Third, a student who has been hurt by others feels that he needs to get even or to take revenge in the form of a physical or psychological attack. When he is allowed to hurt others to take revenge, he establishes an upsetting cycle of hurting and being hurt. And finally, the feeling of inadequacy can be an escape for a discouraged student since it is easier to give up than try and fail. Inadequate student may drag, push, or fight and may be unwilling to try new things. In slide 2, explain that di course dan Castle menyatakan bahwa kita harus menyadari bahwa anak yang nakal hanyalah seorang anak yang berusaha untuk menemukan tempatnya di mata sosial. Dia bertindak sesuai dengan logika yang ia tangkap dan dia beranggapan bahwa misbehavior akan membuat masyarakat menerimanya di mata sosial. Lalu di course menyebutkan 4 alasan mengapa murid berperilaku buruk. Yang pertama yaitu siswa memerlukan perhatian. Jika mereka tidak mendapatkan positive attention, maka ia akan berusaha untuk mendapatkan negative attention. Dan dengan positive attention itu bisa mengembangkan harga diri mereka dengan baik. Yang kedua yaitu untuk mendapatkan kekuasaan dan kontrol dalam diri seorang murid, maka guru akan merasa sedikit tersiksa atau merasa terancam karena kenakalan anak ini. Yang ketiga yaitu seorang siswa yang terluka oleh orang tua atau lingkungan keluarganya, maka ia mempunyai keinginan tersendiri untuk balas dendam, baik itu secara sengaja maupun tidak sengaja. Lalu yang terakhir, perasaan luka itu akan menjadi pelarian bagi seorang siswa yang putus asa karena ia lebih mudah untuk menyerah daripada mencoba. Siswa yang mempunyai luka cenderung melakukan sesuatu berlaku kasar atau berkelahi dan mungkin ia tidak ingin melakukan hal-hal yang baru. And the next is in discipline without tears, the course and counsel suggested some methods for teachers to identify which of the 4 mistaken goals the student is seeking and method that they can respond to the student to help them return to passive classroom involvement. The steps are as follows. First, observe the child's behavior in detail, and second, be psychologically sensitive to your own reaction, and third, comfort the child about the 4 goals with the following 4 can it be questioned. And the last is note the recognition reflect. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Eri Raihani Quratul Aini. My student number is A320200181. William Glaser concept. It's about human behavior, everything we do. The name is choice theory. Explain why people do the thing they do. This is the basic thing for the teacher to manage in the class. Glaciers point out that all of our behavior is caused by our drive to satisfy the five basic needs. Five basic needs that drive our treatment is life, sustainability, or survival. Number 2, love and position. Number 3, power. Number 4, freedom. And number 5, enjoyment. First, survival or life sustainability is similar to Maslow's physiological and safety level. They are basic needs of little interest, if not threatened. Number 2 is love or sense of belonging. Our relationship is similar to Maslow's need and realizing how important it is to us people. Number 3 is power is similar to Maslow need to serve as them. However, we need hard right to learn, value, feeling, or competence, value, and power. Number 4 is freedom. Is the ability to do when we see the fruit of our effort and the constant failure to succeed in freedom for pain, shame, intimidation, control of other, and freedom that we want to have free choice. And number 5 is fun or learning is the ultimate interesting thing we do. And other driver are the basic element of management as follows. Number 1 is the teacher give an example for student to be involved in discussion. Number 2 is student asked to evaluate their own work. And number 3 is the teacher become a facilitator in learning. Okay. And then according to Glaser, there are two types of teaching. Number 1 is lead teaching. This is teaching a group of students in a positive farmer in a strong student-teacher relationship. And number 2 is boss teaching. There is when a teacher want to be in control and not let students their ideas and wish. Thank you.
My name is Amalia Rahma Firdaus. My name is A320200183. I will explain about the closing from this presentation. Classroom management always becomes a priority for teachers because they concern about student safety and desire to deal effectively with student disruptive behavior. They consistently regard discipline as one of the most serious obstacles in promoting effective teaching learning process. Actually, students are not bad or disruptive. They are simply trying to gain their need fulfilled by using behavior that are not the best interests of theirs of. To address this concern, scholars have established strategies to understanding student disruptive behavior in school. They believe that much of this behavior is student response for not having their basic need fulfilled within the environment in which the misbehavior occurs. This theory has the benefit of placing the teacher in a creative position. Thank you.